You wake up every morning and scroll through social media, watching people your age flaunting their success, their cars, their vacations, their seemingly perfect lives. And there's this quiet voice inside you that whispers something you've never said out loud. You know you're capable of more. You know there's wealth waiting for you somewhere in the shadows of your potential. But you've been taught to believe that getting rich requires noise, connections, the right family, or a prestigious diploma. What if I told you that the wealthiest people in history, myself included, built their fortunes in complete silence? What if the very thing you think is holding you back, that quiet nature of yours, that tendency to work behind the scenes, is actually your greatest advantage? I am Solomon, and 3,000 years ago, I discovered something that most people will never understand. True wealth doesn't announce itself. It doesn't beg for attention. It grows in the darkness of discipline, in the silence of unwavering faith, in the hidden hours when no one is watching. Tonight, I want to show you 7 invisible characteristics that reveal who will become truly rich. Not temporarily wealthy, not flash-in-the-pan successful, but genuinely, lastingly prosperous. These aren't skills you can fake or personality traits you can pretend to have. They live in the core of your being, and they're either burning bright inside you right now, or they're waiting to be awakened. If you recognize at least 3 of these qualities in yourself, your harvest is already growing beneath the surface, even if your bank account hasn't caught up yet. If you don't see them, don't despair. I'm going to show you exactly how to cultivate each one, how to become the person wealth naturally flows toward. This isn't motivational fluff. This isn't temporary inspiration that fades by tomorrow. This is a blueprint for internal transformation that precedes external abundance. This is about becoming someone who attracts wealth not because they chase it, but because they embody it. The people who will change their lives watching this video are the ones ready to stop performing poverty and start living prosperity from the inside out. If that's you, if you're ready to discover whether you carry these 7 silent signs of future wealth, then subscribe now, and let's dive deep into the wisdom that has created every lasting fortune in human history. Number 1, wealth leaves signs before it arrives. There's something you've felt but never spoken aloud. You've watched people around you struggle, complain about money, blame the economy, blame their circumstances, blame everything except the one thing that would change everything. And deep inside, in that quiet place where your most honest thoughts live, you've wondered why some people seem to attract abundance while others repel it with every breath they take. You've noticed it, haven't you? There are people who haven't made their fortune yet, but something about them feels different. Something in the way they carry themselves, the way they speak about the future, the way they handle setbacks. They don't have the money yet, but they have something else. Something invisible but unmistakable. I am Solomon, and I want to share with you one of the most profound truths I discovered during my reign as the wealthiest man who ever lived. Wealth is never an accident. It is never a surprise that catches someone unprepared. Before gold filled my treasuries, before my ships returned heavy with precious cargo, before my name became synonymous with abundance, the signs were already there. Not signs that others could see, but signs that lived within me, signs that prepared me for what was to come. Listen carefully to what I'm about to tell you, because this understanding will separate you from the masses who spend their entire lives waiting for luck to find them. Wealth leaves signs before it arrives. It sends its messengers ahead, and these messengers are not external circumstances or fortunate breaks. They are internal transformations that happen within the person who is being prepared to receive abundance. Think of wealth like a river that flows toward the ocean. The river doesn't randomly choose its path. It follows the natural contours of the land, moving always toward the lowest point, the place that offers the least resistance and the most capacity to receive. Wealth flows the same way. It moves toward those who have prepared themselves to receive it, those who have carved within their character the channels that can hold abundance without being destroyed by it. But here's what most people never understand. The preparation always comes first. Always. The character formation happens in silence, often in struggle, usually in moments when no one is watching and no one is applauding. The person who will become wealthy tomorrow is already thinking, acting, and responding differently today. They are already living from a place of abundance, even when their circumstances haven't caught up yet. I remember a young merchant who used to come to my court. He was poor by any measure you could use. His clothes were simple, his donkey was old, his goods were few. But there was something about him that caught my attention. When other merchants would complain about bad harvests or difficult customers, he would quietly study their complaints and look for solutions. When others would panic during seasons of scarcity, he would remain calm and strategic. When others would hoard what little they had, he would give generously, always believing that more was coming. I watched him for years before his external circumstances changed. I watched him serve his customers as if he were already the wealthiest trader in the kingdom. I watched him treat his modest business as if it were an empire. I watched him make decisions not based on his current limitations, but based on his future potential. And here's what fascinated me most. He wasn't pretending. He wasn't putting on an act or trying to impress anyone. This was simply who he was becoming. One day, I called him to my presence and asked him a question that I had been pondering for months. I said, "You act as if you're already rich, but your circumstances suggest otherwise. What do you see that others cannot see?" His answer changed my understanding of wealth forever. He looked at me with eyes that held a certainty I rarely saw, even among my wealthiest advisors, and he said, "My lord, I see that wealth is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens through you. Before abundance can flow through me to others, it must first flow through me to myself. I am learning to receive before I have anything to receive. I am learning to give before I have much to give. I am learning to think prosperously before I have prosperity to think about." That young merchant became one of the wealthiest traders in my kingdom. But he didn't become wealthy because he got lucky or because circumstances suddenly changed in his favor. He became wealthy because he had already become the kind of person that wealth could trust. He had already developed the internal capacity to handle abundance without being corrupted by it, to steward resources without being enslaved by them, to create value without being consumed by greed. This is the truth that separates those who achieve lasting prosperity from those who spend their lives chasing it. Wealth is attracted to those who are already walking in the reality of their future, even when that future is not yet visible. It is drawn to those who have already made the internal shifts that prepare them to receive what is coming. But how do you know if you are being prepared? How can you recognize the signs that wealth is already moving towards you, even if your bank account hasn't gotten the message yet? First, examine your thoughts when you're alone. When no one is listening to your internal dialogue, what story are you telling yourself about money? Are you constantly focused on what you lack, on what you can't afford, on how unfair the system is? Or have you begun to think like someone who understands that abundance is not only possible, but inevitable? The person who is being prepared for wealth has already shifted their internal narrative. They are no longer asking, "Will I ever have enough?" Instead, they are asking, "How can I create value? How can I serve more people? How can I solve bigger problems?" This shift in questioning reveals a fundamental change in identity, from someone who receives value to someone who creates it. Second, watch how you respond to other people's success. When you see someone driving a car you wish you owned, living in a house you dream about, or running a business you admire, what is your first emotional response? Are you filled with resentment, envy, or bitterness? Or do you feel inspiration, curiosity, and a desire to learn? The person who is being prepared for wealth has learned to celebrate others' prosperity as proof of what's possible. They understand that wealth is not a limited resource that runs out when others have it. They see success stories as evidence that the principles of prosperity work, and they study those stories for insights they can apply to their own journey. Third, examine how you handle money that you do have, no matter how small the amount. Do you treat every dollar with respect and intentionality? Do you make decisions based on wisdom or impulse? Do you see money as a tool for creating more value, or as a scarce resource to be hoarded and worried over? The person being prepared for wealth has already learned to be faithful with little, knowing that faithfulness with little qualifies them for faithfulness with much. They honor every resource that comes into their hands, not because they have to, but because they understand that this is practice for handling greater abundance. Fourth, consider how you speak about your future. Do your words reflect hopelessness, resignation, and defeat? Or do they carry vision, expectation, and unshakable faith in what you cannot yet see? The person being prepared for wealth speaks their future into existence with their words, not because they are trying to manipulate reality, but because they have already seen in their heart what their hands will eventually hold. But here's what you must understand. These signs are not just indicators of future wealth. They are the very foundations upon which wealth is built. When you begin to think prosperously, you make different decisions. When you make different decisions, you create different results. When you create different results, you build different realities. And when you build different realities, you become a different person. This is why wealth leaves signs before it arrives. It's not that these signs predict the future. These signs create the future. They transform the person from someone who hopes for abundance into someone who generates it, from someone who wishes for prosperity into someone who manifests it through their character, their choices, and their commitment to becoming who they need to be. The tragedy is that most people are looking for external signs. They want to see the opportunity before they prepare for it. They want to see the resources before they develop the character to handle them. They want to see the path before they take the first step. But wealth doesn't work that way. Wealth requires faith. It requires believing in what you cannot yet see and acting as if what you believe is already true. So I ask you now to examine your life with complete honesty. Are you already living like someone who expects abundance? Are you making decisions based on scarcity or based on the certain knowledge that your greatest days are ahead of you? Are you preparing yourself internally for the external transformation that is coming? Because if you have already begun to think, act, and respond like someone who understands the principles of prosperity, then let me tell you something that will change how you see your current circumstances. Your wealth is not coming. Your wealth is already here. It exists right now in your mind, in your character, in the way you see problems as opportunities and obstacles as training grounds. It exists in the discipline you practice when no one is watching, in the integrity you maintain when it would be easier to compromise, in the service you give when there's no immediate reward. The gold and silver will follow. The opportunities will multiply. The resources will flow. But these are just the external manifestations of the internal reality you have already created. Wealth leaves signs before it arrives because wealth is not primarily about money. It's about who you become in the process of earning the right to steward abundance. And if you have become that person, then your harvest is not coming. Your harvest is here. Number 2, the 7 silent characteristics of future prosperity. You sit in meetings and watch people perform. They speak loudly about their plans, their dreams, their guaranteed success. They make promises they can't keep and claims they can't support. They demand attention, seek validation, and measure their worth by the applause they receive. And somewhere deep inside, you feel a quiet certainty that their noise is actually revealing their emptiness. But then you notice others, the quiet ones, the ones who speak less but accomplish more, the ones who make no grand announcements but consistently deliver results, the ones who seem to operate from a different playbook, guided by principles that the loud majority has never discovered. These are the people who possess what I call the silent characteristics of future prosperity. I am Solomon, and in my years of observing human nature, of building wealth beyond measure, and of understanding the hidden laws that govern abundance, I have identified 7 characteristics that distinguish those who will inevitably prosper from those who will struggle in mediocrity forever. These characteristics are invisible to the casual observer, but they are unmistakable to those who know what to look for. Here's what makes these characteristics so powerful. They operate in silence. They don't require announcement or applause. They don't need external validation or public recognition. They work quietly in the background, shaping the person's reality, preparing them for abundance, and creating the internal foundation that will eventually support external wealth. But here's what you need to understand before I reveal them to you. These characteristics are not personality traits that you're born with or without. They are not genetic advantages or disadvantages. They are developed qualities, cultivated habits of thought and action that anyone can develop if they have the wisdom to recognize their value and the discipline to practice them consistently. Let me share with you the 7 silent characteristics that reveal who will achieve lasting prosperity, and more importantly, how you can develop each one within yourself. The first characteristic is invisible discipline. This is perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of future wealth because it happens completely out of sight. While others are motivated by external rewards, public recognition, or immediate gratification, the person with invisible discipline has learned to do what needs to be done regardless of who's watching or what immediate reward they receive. I watch people every day who can only maintain their good habits when others are watching, when they're being praised, when they feel motivated or inspired. But the moment the spotlight moves away, the moment no one is applauding, the moment the initial enthusiasm wears off, they abandon their disciplines and return to comfort and mediocrity. But the person destined for prosperity has developed something far more powerful. They have learned to be disciplined in the dark. They read when no one knows they're reading. They exercise when no one sees them sweating. They study when everyone else is being entertained. They work on their craft when others are sleeping. They practice their skills when no one is there to witness their improvement. This invisible discipline reveals something profound about their character. It shows that their motivation comes from within, not from external validation. It demonstrates that they understand success is built in private before it's displayed in public. It proves that they are willing to pay the price for excellence, even when no one is keeping score. But here's the deeper truth about invisible discipline. It's not just about doing things when no one is watching. It's about becoming someone who does the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because they have to, not because someone is making them, not because they'll be rewarded for it, but because they have internalized the standards of excellence. The second characteristic is complete detachment from others' opinions. This doesn't mean they don't care about people or that they're arrogant or dismissive. It means they have learned to separate their self-worth from other people's approval. They have discovered that seeking external validation is one of the fastest ways to destroy your own potential. I have watched countless people sabotage their own prosperity because they were more concerned with what others thought than with what was actually true. They made decisions based on what would make them look good rather than what would make them successful. They chose paths that were popular rather than paths that were profitable. They sought approval rather than excellence, and in the process, they guaranteed their own mediocrity. But the person destined for prosperity has learned something that most people never discover. Other people's opinions are irrelevant to your actual results. What matters is not whether people think you're smart, but whether you're actually solving problems. What matters is not whether people think you're successful, but whether you're actually creating value. What matters is not whether people approve of your methods, but whether your methods are producing the outcomes you desire. This detachment from others' opinions gives them a massive advantage because it frees them to make decisions based on effectiveness rather than perception. They can pursue opportunities that others might judge as unconventional. They can use methods that others might criticize as different. They can take risks that others might view as foolish. And because they're not constrained by the need for approval, they can move faster, adapt quicker, and seize opportunities that others miss while they're still worried about what people will think. The third characteristic is constant self-learning. While others are waiting for someone to teach them, the person destined for prosperity has learned to educate themselves. They understand that in our rapidly changing world, formal education is just the beginning. The real education happens through constant self-improvement, continuous skill development, and relentless curiosity about how things work. They read books that others find boring because they know that boring books often contain the most valuable information. They study successful people not to copy them, but to understand the principles behind their success. They pay attention to failures, both their own and others, because they know that failure is often a better teacher than success. But here's what makes their learning different from casual reading or superficial study. They learn with the specific intention of applying what they discover. They don't collect information for the sake of being informed. They gather knowledge for the sake of creating results. Every book they read, every course they take, every mentor they study is chosen with the strategic intention of developing a specific skill or understanding a particular principle that will advance their goals. This constant self-learning reveals something crucial about their mindset. They see themselves as works in progress, not finished products. They understand that the person they are today may not be equipped to handle the opportunities that are coming tomorrow, so they are constantly upgrading their knowledge, their skills, and their capabilities. The fourth characteristic is what I call servant posture with king mentality. This is perhaps the most paradoxical and powerful characteristic of all. Externally, they serve with humility, treating every person they encounter with respect, and every task they're given as an opportunity to demonstrate excellence. But internally, they think like owners, like leaders, like people who are responsible for outcomes and accountable for results. When they work for someone else, they don't work like employees who are just trading time for money. They work like owners who understand that the success of the business directly affects their own future. They take initiative without being asked. They solve problems without being directed. They look for ways to create value beyond their basic job description. This combination of humble service and ownership thinking positions them perfectly for advancement. Their willingness to serve earns them trust and respect from those above them. Their ownership mentality demonstrates that they're ready for greater responsibility, and their understanding of how to create value makes them indispensable to any organization they're part of. But the deeper truth is that they're not just preparing to work for someone else forever. They're using their current position as training for future leadership. Every challenge they face as an employee is preparation for challenges they'll face as an owner. Every problem they solve for someone else is practice for problems they'll need to solve for themselves. The fifth characteristic is strategic calm under pressure. While others panic, blame, make excuses, or shut down when circumstances become difficult, the person destined for prosperity has developed the ability to remain calm, think clearly, and respond strategically when pressure increases. This isn't about being emotionless or pretending that challenges don't affect them. It's about having developed the emotional intelligence to separate their feelings from their actions. They feel the pressure, they acknowledge the difficulty, they recognize the seriousness of the situation, but they don't allow these emotions to dictate their decisions. Instead, they have trained themselves to ask better questions when pressure mounts. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" they ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" Instead of asking, "How can I avoid this problem?" they ask, "How can I solve this problem?" Instead of asking, "Who can I blame for this?" they ask, What can I do to influence the outcome? This strategic calm under pressure serves them in two crucial ways. First, it allows them to make better decisions because they're not operating from a place of fear, panic, or emotional reactivity. Second, it positions them as natural leaders, because people naturally turn to those who remain calm and clear thinking when everyone else is losing their composure. The sixth characteristic is silent execution. While others are making announcements, sharing their plans, seeking feedback on their ideas, and talking about what they're going to do, the person destined for prosperity is quietly doing the work. They understand that execution is more valuable than explanation, that results speak louder than intentions, and that the marketplace rewards what you deliver, not what you promise. This doesn't mean they don't communicate or that they work in complete isolation. It means they have learned the wisdom of acting before announcing, of building before bragging, of accomplishing before advertising. They know that premature revelation of plans can invite unnecessary resistance, unwanted advice, and energy-draining debates with people who aren't qualified to judge their vision. Silent execution also protects them from the trap of seeking validation for incomplete work. When you announce your plans before you execute them, you get emotional rewards for intentions rather than accomplishments. This can actually reduce your motivation to complete the work, because your need for approval has already been satisfied by the positive responses to your announcements. The seventh and final characteristic is unshakable faith in the unseen. This is the foundation that supports all the other characteristics. While others need to see evidence before they believe, the person destined for prosperity has learned to believe in possibilities that aren't yet visible, to trust in processes that aren't yet complete, and to maintain faith in outcomes that haven't yet manifested. This faith isn't blind optimism or wishful thinking. It's based on a deep understanding of how success actually works. They know that every great accomplishment was once invisible, that every fortune began as an idea, that every empire started as a vision. They understand that the physical world is constantly being shaped by invisible forces, thoughts, decisions, and actions that eventually produce visible results. Their faith allows them to persist when others quit. It enables them to see opportunities when others see only obstacles. It gives them the courage to take risks when others choose safety. And it provides them with the patience to continue working toward long-term goals when others demand immediate gratification. But here's what you must understand about these 7 characteristics. They work together. They reinforce each other. Invisible discipline makes it easier to maintain faith in the unseen. Faith in the unseen makes it easier to execute silently. Silent execution makes it easier to remain calm under pressure. Strategic calm makes it easier to serve with humility while thinking like a king. Servant posture with king mentality makes it easier to learn constantly. Constant learning makes it easier to detach from others' opinions. And detachment from others' opinions makes it easier to maintain invisible discipline. When all 7 characteristics are operating in a person's life, they create a powerful momentum toward prosperity. They don't just predict future wealth, they guarantee it. Because a person who has developed these characteristics has become someone that wealth can trust, someone that abundance can flow through, someone that prosperity can use to create value in the world. The question you must ask yourself is not whether you want to be wealthy. The question is whether you're willing to become the kind of person that wealth naturally flows toward. Are you ready to develop these silent characteristics within yourself? Are you prepared to do the internal work that produces external abundance? Because these characteristics are available to you, they are not reserved for a special few. They are not limited to those with certain backgrounds or advantages. They are developed through consistent practice, disciplined choice, and unwavering commitment to becoming more than you currently are. And if you develop them, if you make them part of who you are, then prosperity is not just possible for you. Prosperity is inevitable. Number 3, how to develop these characteristics in yourself. You've looked at yourself honestly, and you've realized something that both humbles and terrifies you. You can see these 7 characteristics in others. You can recognize their power. You understand their value. But when you examine your own life, your own habits, your own way of thinking and responding, you have to admit that most of them are not yet alive within you. Perhaps you see glimpses of 1 or 2. Maybe you recognize the beginning stages of a few. But the full development, the mature expression, the integrated power of all 7 characteristics operating together in your life. You know you're not there yet, and this recognition creates a choice that will determine the trajectory of your entire future. You can make excuses. You can tell yourself that some people are just naturally gifted with these traits while others aren't. You can convince yourself that it's too late to change, that you're too old to develop new patterns, that your personality is fixed, and these characteristics simply aren't part of who you are. You can choose to remain as you are and hope that somehow, despite lacking the internal foundation, external abundance will still find its way to you. Or you can choose the path that few are willing to walk. You can choose to become someone different than you are today. You can choose to develop, systematically and intentionally, each of these characteristics within yourself. You can choose to do the internal work that makes external prosperity inevitable. I am Solomon, and I want you to understand something that most people never realize. These characteristics are not fixed personality traits. They are developed skills. They are cultivated habits. They are chosen responses that become automatic through practice. And if they can be developed by others, they can be developed by you. But developing them requires more than just understanding them intellectually. It requires a fundamental shift in how you see yourself and your potential. It requires moving from being someone who wishes they had these qualities to someone who is actively developing them. It requires transforming from someone who admires these characteristics in others to someone who embodies them in their own life. Let me show you exactly how to develop each characteristic within yourself, not through vague inspiration or theoretical concepts, but through specific, practical actions that will gradually but inevitably transform who you are. Starting with invisible discipline, the foundation of all prosperity. Most people fail to develop discipline because they try to create massive changes overnight. They decide they're going to wake up at 5 in the morning, work out for 2 hours, read for an hour, meditate for 30 minutes, and follow a perfect diet, all starting tomorrow. And when they inevitably fail to maintain this unrealistic schedule, they conclude that discipline is not for them. But invisible discipline is not built through dramatic gestures. It's built through small, private commitments that you make and keep with yourself. Begin with something so small that it feels almost insignificant. Decide that for the next 30 days you will make your bed every morning before you leave your bedroom. No one will notice. No one will applaud. No one will even know whether you do it or not, but you will know. And every day that you keep this small commitment, you are building your capacity for discipline. Why start with making your bed? Because it's the first opportunity every day to choose excellence over mediocrity. It's a small victory that sets the tone for larger victories. It's proof to yourself that you can commit to something and follow through, even when no one is watching. After 30 days of consistent bed making, add another small discipline. Perhaps it's reading for 10 minutes before you check your phone in the morning, or drinking a full glass of water before you have any other beverage. The specific discipline doesn't matter as much as your consistency in practicing it. As you build these small disciplines, you'll begin to notice something remarkable happening. Your confidence in your ability to keep commitments to yourself will grow. Your sense of personal integrity will strengthen. And your capacity for larger disciplines will expand naturally. Here's the crucial insight about developing invisible discipline. It's not about the specific actions you choose to discipline yourself around. It's about building your identity as someone who does what they say they're going to do, especially when no one else is keeping track. Every small discipline you maintain is evidence to yourself that you are becoming someone different, someone who can be trusted with greater responsibility and opportunity. The second characteristic, detachment from others' opinions, requires a different kind of practice. This is emotional discipline rather than behavioral discipline. Most people are addicted to external validation without realizing it. They check their social media obsessively, not for information, but for approval. They make decisions based on what will make others think well of them rather than what will produce the best results. To develop detachment from others' opinions, start by practicing small acts of independence. Choose something completely harmless that you enjoy, but that others might judge as unusual or different. Maybe it's a type of music that's not popular with your peer group, or a hobby that others might consider boring, or a book that others might think is too challenging or too simple. Practice enjoying these things without explaining or defending your choices. When someone comments on your unusual music selection, simply say, "I enjoy it." When someone questions your hobby, respond with, "It brings me satisfaction." Don't try to convince them that your choices are good. Don't seek their approval or understanding. Just practice being comfortable with their lack of understanding. This may seem trivial, but it's building something crucial within you. It's developing your ability to derive satisfaction from internal approval rather than external validation. It's strengthening your capacity to make choices based on your own values and preferences, rather than others' expectations. As you become more comfortable with small acts of independence, gradually expand into larger areas of your life. Practice making career decisions based on what will develop your skills and increase your value rather than what will impress others. Choose investments based on sound financial principles rather than what's fashionable. Select relationships based on mutual respect and shared values rather than social status. The key to developing detachment from others' opinions is remembering that most people's opinions are based on limited information and their own insecurities. When someone judges your choices, they're usually revealing more about themselves than about you. Their opinion is filtered through their own fears, their own limitations, their own understanding or lack of understanding. Why would you allow their filtered perspective to determine your reality? For the third characteristic, constant self-learning, the development process is both simple and challenging. Simple because the resources for learning are more available today than at any time in human history. Challenging because it requires developing new habits and priorities in a world full of distractions. Begin by examining how you currently spend your time consuming information. How many hours per day do you spend watching television, browsing social media, or consuming entertainment that provides no lasting value? I'm not suggesting you eliminate all entertainment, but I am suggesting you become intentional about the ratio of valuable learning to empty consumption. Start by replacing just 30 minutes of entertainment consumption with purposeful learning. Choose books, podcasts, courses, or documentaries that will develop skills relevant to your goals or expand your understanding of how successful people think and operate. But here's what makes learning truly powerful. Don't just consume information passively. Engage with it actively. Take notes. Ask questions. Look for ways to apply what you're learning. Test the concepts in your own life. Discuss the ideas with others who are also committed to growth. Create a learning system that works for your lifestyle and personality. Some people learn best by reading books. Others prefer audio content they can consume while commuting or exercising. Some need visual content like videos or diagrams. The method doesn't matter as much as the consistency. Set a goal to learn something new and useful every single day. It doesn't have to be a massive breakthrough or life-changing revelation. It can be a small insight, a practical tip, a different perspective, or a new piece of information that adds to your understanding of your field or your goals. The fourth characteristic, servant posture with king mentality, is developed through practicing what I call strategic excellence in whatever role you currently occupy. If you're an employee, start thinking and acting like an owner. If you're serving customers, serve them as if their satisfaction directly impacts your personal wealth. If you're part of a team, contribute as if the team's success determines your own future. This doesn't mean doing more work for the same pay or allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. It means bringing an ownership mindset to everything you touch. Look for ways to improve processes, solve problems, and create value beyond your basic job description. When you encounter a challenge or inefficiency, don't just complain about it or wait for someone else to fix it. If it's within your power to address it. If it requires resources or authority you don't have, develop a proposal for how it could be solved and present it to those who do have the necessary resources or authority. Practice taking responsibility for outcomes, not just activities. Don't just focus on completing your assigned tasks. Focus on achieving the results those tasks are designed to produce. If your current approach isn't producing the desired results, experiment with different methods until you find what works. This ownership mentality will be noticed by those in leadership positions because it's so rare. Most people do exactly what they're told to do and no more. When you consistently go beyond the minimum requirements, when you take initiative to solve problems and improve results, you distinguish yourself as someone ready for greater responsibility. But remember, maintain the servant posture. Be humble about your contributions. Don't seek credit or recognition for every improvement you make. Don't become arrogant or demanding. Serve with genuine care for the organization's success and the welfare of those around you, while thinking strategically about how your contributions are positioning you for future opportunities. The fifth characteristic, strategic calm under pressure, is developed through what I call stress inoculation. Just as you can build physical strength by gradually increasing the weight you lift, you can build emotional resilience by gradually exposing yourself to manageable levels of stress and pressure. Start by identifying situations that typically trigger anxiety, panic, or emotional reactivity in you. It might be public speaking, difficult conversations, financial pressure, or unexpected changes. Choose the least threatening of these situations and practice experiencing it while maintaining your composure. For example, if public speaking makes you nervous, start by speaking up more in small group meetings. If difficult conversations stress you, practice having minor challenging discussions with low stakes. If financial pressure overwhelms you, practice making financial decisions with small amounts of money first. The key is to gradually increase your comfort level with discomfort. Each time you successfully navigate a stressful situation while maintaining your calm, you build evidence for yourself that you can handle pressure. This evidence becomes the foundation for confidence in larger, more challenging situations. Develop a standard response protocol for high-pressure situations. When stress increases, what will you do first? Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself what you can control and what you cannot. Identify the most important priority and focus on that first. Having a predetermined response prevents you from making panic-driven decisions. Practice separating facts from interpretations. In stressful situations, much of the anxiety comes not from what is actually happening, but from our interpretation of what might happen. Learn to distinguish between what you know to be true and what you fear might be true. Focus your energy on responding to facts rather than reacting to fears. The sixth characteristic, silent execution, is developed by reversing the common pattern of announcing intentions before demonstrating results. Most people are excited to share their plans, their goals, their ideas, and their intentions because sharing feels like progress. But sharing intentions actually dissipates the energy that should be directed toward execution. Practice what I call stealth productivity. Choose a project or goal that you're working on and commit to completing it without discussing it with anyone until it's finished. This might be writing a book, learning a new skill, starting a side business, or completing a course. Work on it consistently, but don't post about it on social media. Don't tell your friends about your progress. Don't seek encouragement or feedback until you've completed what you set out to do. This practice will teach you to derive satisfaction from the work itself, rather than from others' reactions to your work. It will show you how much more energy you have available for actual execution when you're not spending it on explanation and discussion. You'll also discover that completing projects in silence gives you much more credible authority when you do choose to speak about your accomplishments. When someone asks how you developed a particular skill or achieved a specific result, you can point to actual evidence rather than talking about your intentions or plans. Silent execution also protects your projects from what I call collaborative dilution. When you share your plans too early, well-meaning people will offer suggestions, modifications, and improvements that can distract you from your original vision. Some of their suggestions might be valuable, but many will simply dilute your focus and complicate your execution. The seventh characteristic, unshakable faith in the unseen, is perhaps the most challenging to develop because it requires believing in possibilities that have no current evidence. This faith is built through small experiments in trusting what you cannot yet see. Start by making commitments to long-term outcomes that will require sustained effort over time. Plant a garden and tend it faithfully even though you won't see the harvest for months. Start a savings or investment plan that won't show significant results for years. Begin developing a skill that won't reach mastery level for a considerable time. Each time you invest effort into something that won't produce immediate visible results, you're building your capacity for faith in the unseen. You're proving to yourself that unseen work produces seen results. That invisible effort creates visible outcomes. That faith in future possibilities can motivate present actions. Practice what I call evidence collection for future success. Keep a record of small victories, positive feedback, incremental progress, and moments when your faith in unseen possibilities was rewarded with seen results. Review this evidence regularly to strengthen your confidence that the same principles that produced these smaller successes will produce larger ones. Study the stories of others who achieved what you're working toward, not to copy their exact methods, but to reinforce your faith that the outcomes you desire are actually possible. Every success story you study becomes evidence that the unseen can become seen, that the impossible can become inevitable. Developing these 7 characteristics is not a quick process. It's not something you can accomplish in a weekend workshop or a 30-day challenge. It's a lifelong commitment to becoming someone different than you currently are. But here's what I want you to understand. You don't have to develop all 7 characteristics to perfection before you begin seeing results. As you work on developing each characteristic, as you practice the disciplines that build them within you, you will begin to notice changes in how you think, how you respond to challenges, how you make decisions, and how others perceive and respond to you. These changes will create new opportunities, attract different relationships, and open doors that were previously closed to you. The person you are becoming through this development process is someone that prosperity can trust, someone that wealth can flow through, someone that abundance can use to create value in the world. And as you become this person, as these characteristics become integrated into who you are rather than things you're trying to do, you will discover that prosperity is not something you have to chase. Prosperity will be something that chases you. Right now, as you sit here absorbing these truths, something invisible is happening within you. Like seeds planted in fertile soil, these 7 characteristics are beginning to take root in the quiet depths of your consciousness. You cannot see them growing yet. There is no immediate evidence of the transformation occurring beneath the surface of your awareness, but make no mistake, the process has already begun. Think of the mighty oak tree that stands for centuries, weathering every storm, providing shade for generations. That tree began as a tiny acorn, buried in darkness, invisible to the world above. For months, nothing appeared to be happening. The ground looked empty. The surface showed no signs of life. But beneath that seemingly barren soil, an entire universe of growth was unfolding in silence. Your prosperity is like that oak tree. The characteristics you are now cultivating, the disciplines you are choosing to embrace, the faith you are developing in what cannot yet be seen, these are not just habits you are forming. They are the roots of the abundance that is already growing toward the surface of your reality. The world around you may not notice the changes happening within you. Your bank account may not reflect your internal transformation yet. The people who know you may not see the quiet revolution occurring in your mind and heart. But every day that you practice invisible discipline, every moment that you detach from others' opinions, every hour that you invest in self-learning, you are feeding the roots of your future wealth. You are no longer the same person who began this journey of understanding. The knowledge you now carry has changed you permanently. You cannot unknow what you now know. You cannot unsee what you have now seen. You are becoming someone that prosperity recognizes, someone that abundance trusts, someone that wealth seeks out. If you are ready to continue nurturing these seeds of prosperity within yourself, if you choose to walk this path of silent transformation with others who understand the power of invisible growth, then join this community of awakening minds. Subscribe not just to videos, but to a way of being that attracts abundance through character rather than chance. Your wealth is not coming someday in the distant future. Your wealth is growing right now, in this moment, in the quiet chambers of your transforming heart, preparing to emerge when the season is right and you have become worthy of its stewardship.